Hazmi and Midar spent a few days in Bangkok and then headed for Los Angeles, where they would become the first 9/11 operatives to enter the United States on January 15, 2000. I'd now like to turn to Dieter Snell, who, by the way, was one of the federal prosecutors who prosecuted Ramzi Youssef in the Southern District of New York. Dieter?
While the Hamburg operatives were just joining the 9/11 plot, Nawaf al-Hazmi and Khalid al-Midar were already living in the United States, having arrived in Los Angeles on January 15, 2000. It has not been established where they stayed during the first 2 weeks after their arrival. They appear to have frequented the King Fahd Mosque in Culver City, possibly staying in an apartment nearby. Much remains unknown about their activities and associates while in Los Angeles, and our investigation of this period of the conspiracy is continuing.
I came across something that to me is very important. Okay, for instance, Fahd al-Thamari. How do we even know al-Thamari? When 9/11 happens, why would anybody want to talk to him? What does he have to do with 9/11? The reason that we know about Thamari is Qualid Benomrane. It's in the FBI reports. Oh. This guy is real important for information on what happened. The reason the 9/11 Commission's opened an investigation on Thamari was because of what Benomrane was telling him. Dieter Snell, he's the one that covered it for the Saudis and then testified that Iran did 9/11. When he was at the 9/11 Commission, issued a subpoena to the Hilton Hotel, and he was specifically asking for the records of Said Abdullah and Said Abdallah. And you can see the response, because they sent him the request for the subpoena records. Sayyid Abdullah and Sayyid Abdallah stayed in room 1777 at the Hilton Hotel. They checked out on the 16th, the next day. The amazing part is that room was held for them by someone with a MasterCard. On the 13th of January is when the room was held for them until they arrived on the 15th, and they checked out on the 16th. Okay, so whose MasterCard was that? Well, it's classified.
Qualid Benomrane is not mentioned in the joint inquiry that produced what has become known as the secret 28 pages. Nor is he mentioned in the 28 pages that were partially declassified in 2016, which means he's still being classified in the joint inquiry report. Benomrane is not mentioned in the 9/11 Commission report either. However, he is mentioned briefly in the back pages of the 9/11 Commission footnotes, referencing FBI investigator reports of their interviews with Benomrane just after the events of September 11th, 2001. FBI reports which show Benomrane was the source of a lot of very important information that was uncovered and still hidden from public knowledge to this day. The 9/11 Commission report, whose primary authors were Philip Zelikow and Dieter Snell, states in footnote 14 of Chapter 7, "The most intriguing lead concerns an Arabic-speaking taxicab driver, Qualid Benomrane, who was arrested on immigration charges in early 2002. When asked to look at a series of photographs that included the 19 hijackers involved in the 9/11 attacks, Benomrane responded ambiguously, seeming first to pick out the photographs of Hazmi and Midar, but then denying that he recognized them." The footnote goes on to give reasons why Dieter Snell dismissed the information by Benomrane, but as we'll see, those reasons were just excuses to cover up the explosive information that Benomrane had initially provided. The FBI reports, one of which was only declassified August 29th of 2014, tell the story of Qualid Benomrane. A few days after 9/11, the LAPD Anti-Terrorism Division received a call about a group of Middle Eastern men in Hollywood acting suspiciously. In response, the LAPD initiated surveillance on the group and informed the FBI. The FBI opened an investigation, and while investigating the group, came across Qualid Benomrane. The FBI was aware Benomrane was out of status and decided to pick him up, to be better safe than sorry. While being questioned, Benomrane started to talk about how one day at the King Fahd Mosque, the Imam, Fahad al-Thumari, who was also an official at the Saudi consulate in LA, had asked him to drive around two Saudis that Thumari had told him were in LA to visit their sick father, and further told Benomrane to keep the presence of the two Saudis to himself. During one of the interviews, Benomrane was shown 20 to 30 photos with the 19 hijackers mixed in. Benomrane picked out photos of Hazmi and Midar and placed them to one side, and after he was done, shuffled them back into the pile and said he didn't recognize anyone. Benomrane had also given investigators some other very interesting information. He mentioned that the Saudi consulate had arranged for an apartment to be rented for the two Saudis when they first got to LA, and showed investigators the apartment complex where the Saudis stayed at 3636 South Sepulveda Boulevard. Subpoenas were served on the apartment complex, and it was found that the King Fahd Mosque was renting rooms at the complex, and Fahad al-Thamari had multiple rooms there rented in his name. The information Benomrane was providing investigators is what led to the initiation of an investigation being opened on Fahad al-Thamari. For some strange reason, the FBI, headed at the time by Robert Mueller, decided to shut down the investigation, and Qualid Benomrane was deported to Tunisia, never to be heard from again. Remember what Dieter Snell said to the 9/11 Commission?
It has not been established where they stayed during the first 2 weeks after their arrival. They appear to have frequented the King Fahd Mosque in Culver City, possibly staying in an apartment nearby. Much remains unknown about their activities and associates while in Los Angeles, and our investigation of this period of the conspiracy is continuing.
Not only did Qualid Benomrane lead investigators to the apartment complex at 3636 South Sepulveda Boulevard, where Hazmi and Midar stayed for the first 2 weeks after their arrival, the same apartment complex where Fahad al-Thamari was living, with multiple rooms rented in his name, which was located only a few blocks from the King Fahd Mosque, and a short 10-minute walk to the restaurant where Hazmi and Midar had their, quote, chance meeting with Saudi agent Omar al-Bayoumi. Benomrane also told investigators which hotel the hijackers stayed at the first night they arrived in the U.S. on January 15, 2000. The FBI report that was finally declassified 11 years later on August 29, 2014, also shows an FBI agent informing Dieter Snell that Qualid Benomrane told investigators Hazmi and Midar stayed at the LAX Hilton when they first arrived in the U.S. on January 15, 2000. And that they were met at the airport by someone from the Saudi consulate. The report also states that Detective Gizzi from the LAPD ran the leads at the LAX Hilton. They met with negative results. We know this is Detective Vicky Gizzi, as referred to later on in the report. She is also referenced in the 9/11 Commission footnote 8 of Chapter 7 in regards to an interview that is nowhere to be found. When running the names of Hazmi and Midar at the LAX Hilton, she obviously came across something very interesting, which prompted Dieter Snell to have 9/11 Commission investigator Raj Day communicate on a subpoena to the LAX Hilton. Other declassified materials show the subpoena request to the LAX Hilton for two individuals named Saeed Abdullah and Saeed Abdallah, who had a room held for them starting on January 13th of 2000 and checking out on January 16th of 2000. The Hilton checkout folio also shows the room was held for them by someone paying with a MasterCard. Could it be that Abdullah and Abdallah were really Hazmi and Midar using an alias? The subpoena request would seem to indicate just that. And the person's name on the MasterCard? If it's somebody from the Saudi consulate, that would be evidence of Saudi government support for the hijackers. Or, maybe, there really was a Saeed Abdullah and Saeed Abdallah. There's nothing to any of this, and it could all easily be explained away.
I was just calling you because I was hoping you might be able to help me out with a quick question I had for you. I was just going through some information regarding 9/11, and when you went to the Hilton Hotel and you went and ran some names for Abdullah and Abdallah.
I'm sorry, sir. I really can't talk to you about this.
That's all I wanted to know is what did you find out when you ran those names for Abdullah and Abdallah?
I'm sorry. I can't really talk to you about that, sir. I'll have to hang up now. Sorry.
Yeah, this is Raj Day returning your multiple calls.
Hey, Raj. Yeah, thanks for calling me back. I was looking at some documents, and it was talking about the Hilton Hotel, the Hilton and the LAX, and how you looked into that and stuff like that. I wanted to know, like, those guys, Saeed Abdullah and Saeed Abdallah, It's like, what can you tell me about that whole situation?
I think just read the report, and there's nothing more that I have other than what's in the report. But I don't have anything further to add regarding the 9/11 report.
Would I be wrong to think that Abdullah and Abdullah were Hazmi and Midar?
I really don't have anything else to add, and I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't try me at home, okay?
Well, can you tell me anything about whose name was on the MasterCard there that rented the room? Like, you were the one that looked into this stuff, right?
Thank you for your time, and please don't try me back.
Can I talk to you about Fahad Al-Thamari?
I'm not interested in speaking about it.
Hello. Hi, Dieter. I was just, the reason I was calling you is I just wanted to ask you a few questions about something you could help me out with.
And why are you calling?
Well, I just wanted to verify something with you. I was just looking over some records concerning the Hilton Hotel at the LAX during the 9/11 Commission when you were working on that. And I noticed you guys had subpoenaed for the room that two gentlemen were staying in named Abdullah and Abdullah.
Look, I don't want to talk to you. Okay?
Yeah, I just want to clear something
Good
up.
night.
Just for, hello?